Hello and welcome to the Highlights program. My name is Jim Strawn, host of the program. Highlights from the heart of our community is brought to you through a collaboration between Jim Strawn and Company, the Media Center, and HD Media, and our newest sponsor, Banker's Life. There's no life like the Banker's Life. If you're a regular viewer of this highlight show, and we certainly hope that you are, you know how much we love to focus on those grassroots organizations, grassroots people, organizations, companies doing amazing work, phenomenal work to make our great state of West Virginia, our Kanawha Valley, and our city of Charleston, West Virginia, a better place to live, learn, work, and to play. And on today's Highlights program, we're going to feature an organization that has been doing all of that and more for 41 years. We're going to be talking about one of my favorite organizations, the Covenant House, and their upcoming Chef's Challenge, the 12th annual Chef Challenge coming on September 13th, and we have their new executive director to help us with that. So sit back, relax, take it all in, soak it all up. Lots of great insight coming your way, lots of really good information coming your way. We are glad that you are with us on this edition of Highlights. And now, as promised, I bring in my good friend, Briana Martin. Bree, how are you?
I am well, Jim. How are you?
I'm doing good. You're our executive director with the Covenant House.
Yes, correct.
But you're pretty new as the executive director, but you're not new to the house.
Correct.
So you've been an executive director about 5 or 6 months
yes,
now?
the very last day of Black History Month.
Yes.
The board voted unanimously.
Very good. Congratulations for you, but you're
Thank you.
not new to the house. How long have you been there? And talk about your how you've evolved to become the director and all the roles that you've had in the past.
So thank you for having me today. September 2007.
Nice.
That is when I started my career.
Yeah.
My career path with Covenant House, and I was what we called at that time the outreach worker. So I was told that at that point my job was not to sit in that house, but to operate and work in the streets of Charleston. And so that's what I did. That's how I started. And my job moved and elevated to housing positions. And at one point in time, I was our smoking cessation, African-American smoking cessation instructor. And I've helped pretty much with just about all programs in Covenant House. So I've dipped myself in all of them.
It sounds like everything you have done has prepared you to be who you are today, which is how leaders become leaders.
This is true. That's what I've said, is all of this time it was setting the scene for where I am now.
And you certainly, I know you really well, Bree. You don't ask people, you don't ask staff, you don't ask folks to do something you haven't already done.
I just do.
You just do.
I just do.
You're a doer, and then when you delegate, hey, I've done this, I need you to do this today.
Yes.
You're in a new role.
It makes things easier to lead that way, to have been there before and to be able to explain to the staff now. It makes it a lot easier.
I mentioned how I care so much and I love what you guys do, I love what you stand for, but maybe someone is watching this, maybe they don't know, maybe they're new to the West Virginia,
Sure.
they're new to Charleston, or maybe they're new to you. You've been there, but you've not been in the limelight like you are now as the leader. But talk to the people, explain maybe in a nutshell or maybe the elevator speech, what the Covenant House, what do you stand for? What is your mission? Why do you folks exist?
So of course we are a 501c3 nonprofit here in Charleston, but we specialize in championing the rights of all West Virginians for food, housing, and health care. So those are what we call our 3 pillars.
Okay.
And most of our programs and our assistance stems from that.
And the house is physically located?
At 600 Shrewsbury Street, here in the heart of Charleston.
But I wanted to make it clear, right there beside the Capitol Market.
Correct.
But you don't have housing. You help with housing, but you don't have beds. It's not an overnight stay, correct?
Correct. We are an agency that works in the community. Other than the food pantry is located on site. And the food pantry runs the kind of the gambit of different things that can come from that. We have diapers, we have hygiene items, we have food, anything that we have pretty much in that service center we give out. But as far as our housing programs, those step out in the community. We have about 4 or 5 different case managers that operate those programs, and they work with local landlords here in Charleston and, of course, individuals who are needing assistance possibly with rent or gaining assistance with an eviction.
I'm going to talk a little bit more about this food insecurity, but we are talking with Bree Martin,
Yes.
Executive Director with the Covenant House. I want to put their website up in case you maybe have some questions or want to go to the website, or if you want to give Bree a call or somebody that works at the Covenant House, 304-344-8053, 304-344-8053. The website is on the screen as well, wbcovenanthouse.org. Food insecurity. Are you seeing, it looks like you folks did about over 6,000 families or meals, or how do you keep track of the numbers that you provided last year? And then the follow-up question is, are we seeing more and more people in need of food?
Our numbers are increasing.
Yeah.
Of course, I think everyone was affected by COVID,
Right.
as we were as well. But you are correct. In this past year, we served over 6,600 individuals through our local choice food pantry.
So that's how you keep the tabs, is over 6,000 different people.
Yes,
Wow.
we have of course a computer system database
Yeah.
that tracks that data for us. Individuals are allowed to visit that pantry twice a month, so every 14 days they can come back and visit. But those numbers are unduplicated numbers, but they can come back that often. So our numbers have increased these past few months. Unfortunately, the extra food stamps that were given out during COVID, those are dialing back some, and the need still exists. So
I know it takes a village to take care of everyone in the Charleston and the Kanawha Valley, well, the West Virginia, United States for that matter, but we're talking more locally. And you collaborate with so many different folks, and you partner with so many different folks. You're probably, I'm just guessing, part of the KVC, the Kanawha Valley
We are.
Collective. And
We are.
you work closely. You reside the Work Sullivan for veterans, and you work closely with so many other organizations. How do you guys communicate to make sure, just by chance, maybe somebody's not trying to play the system? They typically don't, but some people may. You guys communicate and kind of keep track of the clients that we're all serving, right?
that's a great question, and one of the tools that we all use, the agencies that you mentioned and several others here in town, we utilize a computer system called HMIS, the Homeless Management Information System.
Okay.
And if you receive federal dollars, that is a requirement. So it's a statewide database,
Okay.
and it makes things easy.
I bet it does.
It can track
keeps
people.
track of
Yes,
things.
absolutely.
Right. So some of the pillars. Name your 3 pillars again.
Food, housing, and healthcare.
So housing. Let's talk about housing. How you're trying to prevent people from being homeless,
Yes.
right? That's part of your thing. We're preventing people from being homeless. So what do you do in that arena? What do you do for that pillar? Do you help arrange housing? Do you facilitate housing? Do you work with HUD? All the above, everything in between?
It's kind of all the above.
Yeah,
It really
okay.
depends upon what the situation is. We have the ability to assist with evictions. We have the ability to assist with deposits and first month's rent. It can be a couple of months' rent if a person needs that. We have several different programs. We have a Housing First program, which is a permanent program, and that has supportive services that wrap around with that. So the case managers, we have 2 case managers. They operate a caseload of 19 individuals. They do weekly home visits on those units. And then our Emergency Solutions Grant, or our Rapid Rehousing Prevention Program, assists individuals who are homeless, meeting HUD's definition, or prevention side of it. If they are already housed but may be facing eviction, we have the ability to assist.
So you vet them with the criteria. Some folks may not. Do folks come to you and go, "I'm so sorry, you just don't necessarily qualify for us to help you," or do you try to help everyone, but maybe you can't do this, but you can refer on to this organization?
Yes, we do that. But for the most part, there are a great number of individuals that we can help. Those that don't necessarily fit HUD's definition or the criteria to qualify for those programs, we have one additional pot of funding that is called the Home for Good program. And what they kind of speak to it as is someone who is considered a couch surfer, which may be someone who is bouncing around from place to place, and that pot of funding is unrestricted as far as meeting HUD's definition to qualify for the other funds.
I heard that. You said something about good. We're here for good, or
Yes,
Place
yes.
for good. I mean, that's a tagline.
So
Sometimes
here for good.
We're here
is
for good.
the
Like we're here
camp-
for good, and we're here for good.
Yes. But so here for good is another campaign that we host at Covenant House. But Home for Good
Home for
is
Good,
the
like you
actual
said.
program, the housing program that individuals who are considered couch surfers
Well, you are
can gain
certainly
access
here
to.
for good.
I am.
And
I plan to be.
And they've been here for 41 years. We're having a
Yes.
great conversation with Briana. Bree Martin, our new executive director with the Covenant House here in Charleston, West Virginia. Give her a call if you have any questions, or give her staff a call if you may have some things I have not asking Bree that you want to know about. 304-344-8053, wbcovenanthouse.org is the website. And one of the other pillars that I know you work very closely with is healthcare and access to healthcare. Folks that come to you typically don't have insurance, don't have lots of money, sometimes
Correct.
don't have a home, having a hard time finding some food to eat, so they're insecure with their food. So you help with access to healthcare. You don't necessarily
We
provide
don't.
healthcare.
Covenant House
Right,
does
right,
not.
right.
It is West Virginia Health Right. It
Okay,
is
sure.
one of the best partnerships that has been developed in all of the years that I've been there. And so West Virginia Health Right has a full-scale 40-hour open clinic. It's open to anyone. No appointments necessary. They will set an appointment, but it is a walk-up clinic. That clinic also assists with individuals who may be facing homelessness that need to access our local shelters. So they'll be diverted to that clinic. They will test them COVID-wise and also perform a shelter physical for their admission into the facility. So they've been doing numbers of roughly about 2,100 people in this past year just through our small clinic. And it's a 3-room clinic, but oftentimes the wait isn't as long as the main office. And it's a very inviting facility. And beyond the healthcare side of it, if someone has the need for our services, it can all be done in one place.
West Virginia Health Right, what
Yes.
a wonderful partner, a great collaboration, a great asset to our city
They're
of Charleston.
fantastic.
We're talking about the east end of
Yes.
Charleston, West Virginia, on Washington Street East,
Yes.
right? And it's a beautiful place, and Dr. Angie does a great job over
She's
there.
great.
Dr. Settle, so that's a great partnership for you, isn't it?
It's
So
been
some folks might
wonderful.
not even know that they maybe need health care, or they come to you and they know they need it.
Yes.
How do Bree, I don't have any insurance. How do I get that
That's
help?
not a problem.
West Virginia
That's
Health
not a
Right.
problem. And that connection often happens. So Health Right, on Tuesdays and Fridays, they do a pop-up clinic on the outside of our facility.
So they come to you sometimes?
Yes, they're always there. They're
always
always there with the clinic.
Okay.
But they will also do this extension of the pop-up clinic with their mobile unit. So on Tuesdays and Fridays from 8 to 12, you can find them in the front of Covenant House doing testing. And of course, they provide a small little gift card for
Very nice.
completing their test.
I am assuming, too, and I know you guys very well, I know what you do, I'm assuming every once in a while, someone that's doing okay, they're doing pretty good, they're making their way, they're paying their bills, they're doing this, they're feeding their family, but every once in a while, something might hit. They need a new washer and dryer, they need a new refrigerator, or they might need a new vehicle, or new tires, or some kind of emergency has come up, and they can't get over that emergency hump. I think you help some people maybe even just one time.
I mean, yes, we
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
Most often when individuals come our way, there's an emergency that they're facing.
Yeah, they're feeling it.
Whether it be food or health care or assistance with housing or possibly a utility termination. Most often when they come to us, they are in need. And once we begin speaking, we discover that they're in need of multiple things. And
Some people are pretty humbled and pretty, just hard to ask sometimes.
it can be difficult.
Yeah, sure.
In
'Cause
my
we're proud.
past, when working with individuals directly, it was always one of those things that I would always tell people, don't be ashamed to come here for assistance. That's what we're here for.
All the assistance that you're providing and all the services that you provide, and you worked your way up. You've had various different roles
Yes.
at Covenant House. How many people, how many staff are employed by the Covenant House to offer all of these services?
So we are a very lean
Yeah,
staff,
yeah,
I'll say. As of right now, there are 11 on our staff.
Not very many.
Not at all.
Not very many.
We had a recent long-standing staff member. He reached retirement yesterday.
Congratulations, Phil.
Yes, fantastic. It's bittersweet. It was a bittersweet send-off.
Phil was with us for 22 years,
22 years.
Right.
And
Good man.
I woke up this morning and one of the first things that I said was, I can't believe he's gone.
And not long ago, maybe a year or so ago, David retired. He was
Yes.
there for so long.
And he did come back yesterday, so
Oh,
it was
nice.
a
That was good to
small
see him. Good to
reunion.
see
We
him.
did. It was
So
fantastic.
you're going through a transition with your staff, not because it's an awful place to work and people are leaving.
Yes.
They stay so long and they retire from
22
there.
years, two people back to back.
And then, unfortunately, you had a high-level administrator, one of your
We did.
financial people, passed away right as you got started.
Our Chief Finance Officer, Stacy Reynolds, yes.
And so you're going through a rebuilding. You're going through some transition.
Yes.
And look at you still smiling. I
Yes.
love that, by the way. You're
Yes.
very positive. But you smile because you love what you do. You know you're powerful. You know it's meaningful. You know you're making an impact.
We're resilient.
You are very resilient. You have about 11 staff. About how many clients do you think you might touch in a year's time, do you think? I mean, about, give or take. You mentioned over 6,000 just with food.
Just with food alone.
Yeah.
And
So 10, 12, 15,
I
20,000?
would say at least half of that 2,000 that West Virginia Health, right?
Yeah.
So I would come close to
10,000 people.
10,000 people
That's
in a
a lot
year.
of folks.
Particularly if you're counting entire households.
Sure.
Yes.
I got you. And let me ask you one other question. Then we're going to take a break. Then we're going to come back from the break and talk about the 12th Annual Chef's Challenge set for September the 13th. Let's talk about how you provide all these services. We all know it takes money and a budget to do this. How is Covenant House? I know you have many streams of revenue. How are you
Yes.
folks funded?
So, of course, we receive federal and state dollars, and then wonderful dollars come in from the city of Charleston, the mayor's administration, through the community block grant,
Sure.
CDBG. We receive funds through that. We also have the private sector funding. The Greater Kanawha Valley is one of our great funders who assist us with many of our programs, actually. And then, of course, we have our private donations that come in from the community, which most often are unrestricted dollars, which make it nice when we are unable to fill the gaps with program grant dollars.
I've done a lot of shows
Yeah.
on the Highlight Show, and I've talked to a lot of nonprofits, and I always have to say what a caring and giving community we have. We just take care of our own.
They are wonderful.
And you have a nice donor base. And we're going to talk more about that donor base and the Chef Challenge and how folks can help with
Absolutely. We
the
couldn't do it
services.
without them.
We absolutely could not. So I'm having a great conversation with Briana Martin. Bree is the Executive Director with the Covenant House. We're going to take a very, very short break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about her annual fundraiser. It's set for September 13th at the Clay Center, and we're going to talk about how you can get involved. I'll be right back. And we'd like to take this opportunity to thank our supporters of the television program. Highlights from the Heart of Our Community is brought to you through a collaboration between Jim Strawn and Company, the Media Center, and HD Media. And our newest sponsor, special thanks to Bankers Life. There's no life like the Bankers Life. For over 140 years, Bankers Life has provided financial security to their clients and policyholders. During that same time, Bankers Life has helped change the lives of many of their associates personally, professionally, and financially. Questions? Do you have questions regarding Medicare and Social Security? Give them a call, 304-757-4134. Or if you're interested in a free review with a licensed agent or looking for a new career in the financial industry, contact Dennis Harmison. Dennis.Harmison, Harmison, at bankerslife.com. There's no life like the Banker's Life. And we are back. We welcome you back into Highlights from the Heart of Our Community, talking with Briana Martin, the Executive Director of Covenant House. We found out all about their services, how they're funded, and now we're going to talk about their biggest fundraiser of the year, the 12th Annual Chef's Challenge on September the 13th on a Tuesday evening over to beautiful Clay Center. Bree, what can folks expect if they come to the Chef Challenge that evening?
Well, it'll be a fantastic event, and we Chef Challenge, in essence, the challenge piece of it. You
Yes.
actually asked me what the challenge
I
was.
did ask you
and-
that off air, but let folks know what the challenge is all about.
Yes, so the challenge is our local chefs, some celebrity chefs at our local restaurants, they peruse our food pantry just to get an idea of the food that's on the shelves of the pantry. And the challenge is to prepare a gourmet meal still out of the actual food that is there. So that's the challenge of it all. So it will be an evening of a sit-down style gourmet dinner, multi-course meal that is prepared by our celebrity chefs here in the Valley.
Our very colorful poster is up
Yes.
on the screen for you
Yes.
now, and it's always fun. It's a different one every year, but the mission and the concept of the evening is typically the same. The chefs have the challenge. They peruse and kind of take a look at the food pantry at the Covenant House, and they prepare
Yes.
usually a 3 or 4 or 5 course meal for the patrons and the customers and the guests who come that
Correct.
evening. And it's always just a fantabulously attended and amazingly delicious evening. Some of the chefs, they've been with you for many years.
Yes.
Who are some of the, and they're very kind, and they're very giving of their talent and their treasures and what they do for a living. They give you their evening.
They
and
do.
They come down to
They
the Clay
do.
Center
They
and
do.
talk about what they do for you.
Well,
and who they
this
are.
year, what is nice about this year, and we kind of did it the same as last year, part of the proceeds of this year will go back to those restaurants who are participating. Many have still not fully come back from
Correct.
COVID. So the proceeds that we receive, we will be sharing a portion.
Because they're wonderful partners.
Yes, they are fantastic. So we are looking at a lineup of, we have chef from Embassy Suites, we have Chef Betty, and then we have Terry Blevins with little bit of heaven cupcakes, and Chef Evan at Ichiban. They will do some past hors d'oeuvres for us for the evening. And then we have Black Sheep Burrito with Kevin Madison
yeah.
coming. And Chef Paul will be there
Right.
from 1010 Bridge, which is exciting. He'll do actually 2 different meals. He'll do the vegetarian entree, and he'll also do the soup.
So 1010 and Chef Paul are actually, he's preparing something that evening?
Yes, he
I
will.
did-
He will do the soup for the evening, and he will
Nice.
also do the vegetarian entree.
Very good. What a great lineup. I love my girl, Terry Blevins from Little Bit.
Yes.
Love her.
Yes. I'm
Deliciousness.
excited this year because she's going to put a spin on it and do a savory. She's going to do a savory hors d'oeuvre because this year new we have Rock City Cake Company added to, and she
Morgan,
will
we
take
love
care.
Morgan.
Yes, Morgan will take care of the desserts, and this is her first year coming in, and she's really excited. When we called her on the phone, she said, "I've been waiting for this call."
Well, I'm glad you made it.
Yes.
Her stuff
so
is
we're
amazing.
delighted
And
to
she's
have her. And then we'll have Chef Dennis from Edgewood Country Club.
Edgewood Country Club,
He'll
right.
be there, and he'll prepare the main entree, and then Sandy Call and Chef Josh will do the side of some candied Brussels
Bridge
sprouts.
Road Bistro, Sandy Call.
Yes.
I got to tell you, Chef Dennis, I'm bragging on him. I love Chef Dennis.
Yes.
But he just was awarded the Celebrity Judges Best Dish at the Culinary Showcase at the Convention Center last month. So, yes.
Fantastic. We love
He's pretty
Dennis.
good. He's
we
pretty good.
love Dennis.
I love him, too.
I've known Dennis for quite some time, and he was one of the first people to respond when I received the promotion. So.
He's a good. How
He
can
is.
folks, can they still get tickets? How
Yes,
much are tickets?
absolutely. Tickets are $125 this year, and you
Nice.
can go right on our website. and-
wvcovenanthouse.org.
Yes.
Click on events, drop
Chef
it down to
Challenge.
the Chef Challenge, click on get tickets, and boom, you're in.
Don't meet me there, beat me there.
There we are. The event's not a long night. Well, we're gonna, we're gonna open about 5:30 in the lobby of the Clay Center. There'll be some hors d'oeuvres passed around there, and then the doors will open to the main lobby outside of the performance hall. 6 to 8 is the evening. The beautiful Clay Center, as we mentioned earlier. The website is on the screen. Go there, pull down the event page, and click on Chef's Challenge. Get those tickets. If you feel more comfortable calling, 304-344-8053. Heck, extension 22 will take you right. I think that's Angie's extension,
It is,
right?
that is.
So that's Angie Douglas's extension. I could do this show, Bree, without you, couldn't
I
I?
think so.
I know, I love
I
you. I
think
want
so.
you on here. I'm kidding you. You know, I love the Covenant House. Angie's great. The whole crew over there is great. The Chef's Challenge is great. I'm honored, right? I get to be there. I've been a part of the Chef's Challenge.
Absolutely.
So I'll be your master of ceremonies.
Yes,
Yay,
indeed.
thank you for having me.
Yes, indeed. I'm delighted to
Yeah,
have
it's going to
you.
be a lot of fun. So folks, get involved. We hope to have about how many folks there that evening?
250.
So you asked the chefs to prepare for 250.
Yes.
So that's the number.
So we'll bump it up a little bit,
Yeah.
maybe by 10,
Yeah,
including
if 260
staff.
come,
or so.
we'll take
yes.
it. If 270 come, but we're not going to take too many out of over 300.
Yeah, they won't let us.
Yeah,
They won't let
it's just
us.
not. But that's a nice fundraiser for us, right?
It is. It's
And all that
perfect.
money kind of stays right here with the Covenant
It
House,
does.
unrestricted, so we can help people that we might need something, but we're not allowed to spend it on that because it's restricted from the federal government or the state government.
Absolutely.
Or the city doesn't let us. But this unrestricted money lets us help people without having our hands cuffed or tied
We'll
behind
be
our
able to
back.
particularly grow the food pantry
Yeah,
with
that's nice.
the increase in inflation with food cost and the decrease in quantity. It's been affected. So
Bree,
it'll be fantastic.
is there something that you prepared to talk about today, or something that you need to let the audience know, our viewing audience, about the Covenant House, this event that I haven't asked you? Do you have a parting shot for the folks out there watching the show?
I think I would just say that please don't hesitate to come see us. Many people still don't know what the Covenant House really does.
Yeah.
And it's to be here for 41 years.
You're doing something right.
Yes.
And if you're not familiar with the house, and even if you don't know if you need services, just call you and
Please
stop
stop by.
and say,
Please
hey,
stop by.
call me.
We'd be more than happy.
Show you around a little
Yes.
bit. It's a very welcoming home. I've been there quite a few times. I
We
love
are
the staff.
open to
I love
all.
the people. We love you, Bree. Congratulations on your new role.
Thank you very
Good luck
much.
on the Chef Challenge.
Thank you
I'll
for
see you there.
having me. See
And
you
we hope
there.
to see you there as well. September 13th, the 12th Annual Chef Challenge to benefit the Covenant House. That is all the time we have for on this edition of Highlights from the Heart of Our Community, brought to you through a collaboration between Jim Strawn and Company, the Media Center, and HD Media, and of course, our sponsor, our partner, Banker's Life. There's no life like the Banker's Life. We'll see you on September 13th, and we'll see you next time right here on Highlights. Take care now.